welcome back. I'm AM Reaper. This is DMT, Journey of the Infant Mind. Today we're here to talk about NMT, or N-Methyl Tryptamine. And why we're here to talk about that is because these days most of the DMT that you'll find is contaminated with NMT. A lot of it comes from the acacia DMT. But the question comes from a lady from Maggie Ellis, and I thank you, Maggie, for your question. I saw your messages there the other night. And to answer your question, a silly question, there is no such thing. I mean, that's the only way to learn, is to ask. Doesn't matter how many times you ask, as long as you're learning. Alright, that's cool, and it's cool that you stepped outside your comfort zone. Thought you made yourself look like an idiot, which you didn't. And thanks very much for asking me a question. Okay, it was cool. And I hope I answered it well for you, but this is why I sort of thought I'd chuck this quick little video in here to explain a little bit about N-Methyl Tryptamine. Well, N-Methyl Tryptamine, usually, right, yeah, so welcome back. There it is there, that's N-Methyl Tryptamine. It's a very, very similar molecule to DMT. Very, very, very similar. NMT is a byproduct of the biosynthesis of DMT. So in humans, or in animals and plants, when DMT is made or found, there's always, or usually, I'm not sure if it's always, but I'm pretty sure it's always, there is N-Methyl Tryptamine as a byproduct. Okay? N-Methyl Tryptamine, usually in DMT, is what makes it go yellow. So if you've got yellow DMT, it's for two reasons. I've said before, it's either contaminated with other alkaloids because you haven't cleaned your DMT properly, or it is N-Methyl Tryptamine, which is a contaminant, or it's oxidized. You've set in the oxygen too long, it started oxidizing, turning it into N-methyl oxide. So, but N-Methyl Tryptamine is also an active tryptamine, but it is only about a third the strength of DMT, and it is about twice the weight of DMT. So that's why you see all these people with these acacia extractions, and they're posting these huge big numbers of extractions of DMT extractions out of 100 grams. So for instance, they get 100 grams of acacia bark, and I've seen one bloke report up to 5 grams of DMT crystals out of that. Now I can't see how that's possible, to be honest with you. It may be, but in my experience, I've had a fair bit of it, it's about 2.5 times what you expect to get. You usually get about 0.8 milligrams of pure crystals out of it, probably half of pure crystals, half a gram of pure crystals out of a 100 gram batch, up to about 1. Some people do get more, but that's usually on the average what we used to get. And that was pure spice, it wasn't no contaminants at all. We did separate the NMT at one stage and muck around with that, so that's why I'm here to make this video. NMT is usually found in acacia trees. There, that chart there shows you acacia confusia, which is the most commonly used bark at the moment for extracting DMT. But as you can see there, there's a very high content of N-Methyl Tryptamine, over half, or around about half. I can't read that from here, what does it say? Yeah, 57% or so. So more than half of your DMT is actually NMT. So you wash it and you don't end up with much at all. But what you do get is pure DMT. Okay? Now, N-Methyl Tryptamine is mainly, the funny thing is, it's mainly present in the body in people with schizophrenia or people who have got mental retardation. They have higher levels of N-Methyl Tryptamine, which is a strange thing, eh? Now, the effects of N-Methyl Tryptamine are, so your brain's got so many receptors. If you're flooding all your receptors with DMT, we're having a full-on DMT trip. If you're flooding half those, all those same receptors, but it's at a lower rate of DMT and a higher rate of NMT, what you'll find is it'll increase the body load of your trip and probably decrease the visuals. It'll still show fractal patterns and stuff like that, but it won't show. It'll be more inclined to show you those type of things than showing you very bright colours and crystal sort of geometry and stuff like that. It'll show you, well, I suppose you'd say more of an electronic earth type of thing, maybe. But it's so what it does, it's actually a slight MAO inhibitor, or it's got a slight Hamala properties. So it actually extends your DMT trip for from about 7 minutes to around about 15 to 20. Okay, and it slows down the onset. So when you smoke normal crystal DMT, white stuff, it'll bang, hit you pretty quickly. Sometimes it's slower than others, but sometimes it hits you very fastly. Whereas in an NMT mix will actually swirl around for a bit and take a while to hit you. It still hits you strongly, but it takes a fair bit longer to come on. It's a lot gentler. a lot gentler in the process, but it has a lot higher body load than N-Methyl Tryptamine. Now there it is there. That's a good example of a DMT contaminated with NMT. See the yellow colour of it? That's N-Methyl Tryptamine and other alkaloids. There it is there. Now that there, the one previously was actually a fairly high ratio of DMT, as you can tell in the crystals. That there has got a very, very high ratio of NMT, and you can see it in a close inspection. That picture there, that stuff's very yellow, and it's almost like little balls. Like we did an extraction once and ended up with just N-Methyl Tryptamine, and it just looked like little tiny pollen balls, little tiny pollen ball crystals. It was really weird. Very active. Loaded it up and smoked a cone of it, see what it was like. It was very active. But it had a very, very, very high body load to it. So the blood pressure, and stuff like that. Now that's a picture of different extractions of DMT and different alkaloids that has been extracted from Hostilus mimosa. Hostilus mimosa used to be what the whole go was, mimosa bark. Everyone used mimosa bark. So they reckon it had the highest quantity of DMT in it to extract. But they've since found that if you can get some good quality ACRB bark, acacia fuchsia bark, then you can get some nearly close to the same ratios. All barks vary depending on time of year, seasons, when you got them, how old they are. So yeah, just because one bark gives you a lot one day, it doesn't mean it's going to the next time. Still give you a base amount, but they do vary. Now, as you can see there, from the left to the right, well, on the right you've got harmaline, you've got changa, I think, and something else, and I can't read the other one. And STV is a standard acid to base extraction, and then you've got acid to base and acid to base with a reax. And as you can see, none of that DMT there is pure white. It has all got a slight off colour to it. So you've got pinkish white to palish white to yellow to brown jungle spice, and then you've got the harmaline alkaloid there. Harmaline's not usually out of mimosa, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But anyway, the point was, a lot of people on the internet only think that NMT comes out of acacia DMT. That's incorrect, as you can see there, and you can find on the internet reports. It's a very low percentage rate compared to DMT, but as you can see there, it's still present. I've had mimosa DMT that's had NMT in it, and it's very, very similar to acacia DMT with NMT in it. You struggle to tell the difference. Okay, now, as I said, what it does do is it increases the duration of the trip, draws out the come up process, and when you fall out of the DMT stage, once all the pressures lift off, and you fall out of your trip and you sort of get back in the LSD type mushroom sort of land, the blackness with all the fractal patterns everywhere and a few colours and this sort of stuff, it actually, when you've got a high ratio of NMT, you actually end up falling into the lucid dream state very easily. I've done this myself quite a few times. You just sort of start, yeah, it's very, very lucid, where DMT doesn't do that. You sort of just drop out and bang, you're back to where you were, but this will sort of spin you around in like a lucid dream state for a long time. You can even fall asleep and just stay asleep. You don't even realise you're asleep. You're just asleep and you're awake in your dreams, 3 or 4 hours passes and boom, you're awake and shivers, what happened there? Okay? And as I said, the visuals become the trip becomes more spacey, more open, more of a void, a black void type of thing, a floaty void, than just a powerful drained into you, smashed into your DMT trip. A lot of people prefer this because with a slight NMT mixed in their DMT, because as I said, it does prolong it and it does usually lessen the come up effects. So it's a lot easier on the come up, but it has a lot higher body load. This is a funny thing when I talk about body load. It's blood pressure and vasconstriction. You have vasconstriction properties with DMT, and therefore when your heart races, so your veins are getting smaller and your blood's pumping faster. So it goes into hypertension. So your heart's pumping flat out and the blood's not flowing properly, or like it normally does. And it also affects the central nervous system very, very heavily. Like sometimes you can feel it when your DMT comes on, you can feel it go through every part of your body. You can feel it go through your toenails, you can feel it go through your face, you can feel it go through just about every cell in your body. You can even feel it run down through your teeth sometimes. It doesn't run down, but you can feel it on the inside, just touching every nerve in your central nervous system. And that and those sort of effects are very prominent with a high ratio of NMT. Okay, so I hope that I didn't dribble too much shit or sound like a bit strange. A bit tired here at the moment. So as I said, NMT is made from the byproduct. It's a byproduct of the DMT process when it's biosynthesis out of N-Methyl Tryptamine into DMT. Does the same thing when you make it. Does the same thing in humans. Does the same thing in trees. Just different ratios for different species. Key point was here, well, strange point, is it mainly found in schizophrenics and people with mental retardation at higher levels than normal people. Yeah. Alright then guys, we'll hope that clears up a little bit about NMT. I've smoked a lot of NMT, DMT mixes. And like people are smoking Changa and that, you're usually smoking a higher rate of NMT most of the time. Alright guys, thanks for watching. The next video I'll get done in a couple of days, or probably the end of today maybe, and that's going to be on about, that'll be about a bit about jungle spice on a trip that I had with the jungle spice, which is a red DMT. And then we can get back to some pure DMT crystal trips. I'll tell you a few about some of those things, and even there's even a 65mg joint experience there I need to share with you. So I'll catch you next time. This is AM Reaper. Thanks for watching. It's JOTIM DMT. If you want to send us an email, drop us an email down the bottom there, jotimdmt@gmail.com. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, subscribe and you get to see when new content comes out. And yeah, cheers guys, thanks for watching. I know the production isn't the best in the world, but I'm just trying to relay the information. I'm not trying to be flashy and show everything whiz-bam or whatever like people do. I'm just trying to be real. Alright, thanks. I hope somebody enjoyed it out there. Until next time, catch us later. Alright then. Toodaloo. Alright, yeah.